السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، إنه تعالى جل عن الشبيه والمثيل والند والنظير. ثم نشهد أن سيدنا وسندنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وداعينا ومرشدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله صفيه وخليله صلى الله تبارك وتعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم حسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, we all know what happened during last Jum'ah in New Zealand. And last week's khutbah was more about consoling us, understanding why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts difficulty in our life. In today's khutbah, I wanted to be more informative or more proactive. What do we do moving forward, right? And before we actually get into this, what do we do moving forward? I want to just share with you a little bit of the manifesto that this gentleman wrote. And I don't want to mention him by name. I refuse to mention or honor him with a name. He wrote, before he went on this spree, killing 49, now 51, 52 people, and counting. He wrote a 72-page manifesto which he released on a far-right website. It is now available, and you can read through it. I went through some of it, and it is really, really shocking. And to be honest, truth be told, 99% of it, we have already heard it in different forms, right? So what does this manifesto consist of, right? He writes in his manifesto, or he writes that he believes that the fall of all European civilizations is going to happen. And he blames it on Muslims. He says Muslims are eventually going to take over European civilization for two reasons. Number one, fertility rates, and number two is our immigration, right? Moving into Western countries. And so he has this belief that Muslims are going to take over the world, and he quotes, by the way, he links in his manifesto a YouTube video, which unfortunately I did not watch. But that video is a video that was perpetuated by an Islamophobic company, right? A company that just produces Islamophobia, produces hate against Muslims. And in that video, they actually narrate many different false lies about Muslims, right? They say Muslims, on average, every Muslim couple has 8 children, right? Wallah, I have never seen a Muslim family that has 8 children yet in this community, right? So this is the first thing that they mention. They say an average European has 1.1 child, where an average Muslim has 8 children. This is the first thing they say. They say that within a certain year, within 10 to 12 years, France will become predominantly Muslim, right? There are less than 6 to 8% Muslims in France, right? And this is the fear mongering that people have, right? Even in America in the 1960s, right? The government used to tell people that 99% of all problems come from Black America, right? Black people in America. Where even till now, at that time, there were about 7 to 8% of the American population was Black. Now, if you look at the census rate today, it's 13.4% of people are actually Black. But the government uses this. They change the narrative and they make it look like it's a majority. Muslims in America are less than 1.5%, right? But the government will make it look like we are trying to take over all of America. What is 1.5%? Right? It's almost nothing. Right? There are over 300-some million people in America. Muslims are less than 1.8 million in the latest census, right? And so this is one thing that Islamophobes do is that they change the statistics, or they just narrate false narratives. And so this man, he thought to himself that something must be done about this, right? Something must be done against Muslim immigrants and their fertility rates. We have to do something. And he praises in his manifesto many different people. He praises Andres Breivik, the person who was responsible for killing 77 people in Norway on July 22nd. He praises him. He talks in length about him. Then he praises Dylan Roof, the one who shot 13 people in a church in South Carolina. And then he also praises the Cubic City mosque shooter as well. And then at the very end, he writes immense praise for our President Donald Trump. And he quote-unquote says, this man is a symbol of white identity. This man is a symbol of white identity. When the Islamophobes, they mass produce all these lies against Muslims, 1 or 2 people are bound to believe it. This was one person who believed it, right? He was one person who believed it. And so he writes at the end, he says, something must be done. And no one else is doing something, I'm going to go and do something. And we know he live streamed his recording, and I tell you right now, please do not go and watch it, right? It is a disservice against the shuhada that we go and watch, how they have been brutally, slaughtered. is a disservice, and it goes against our faith that we go and we watch something like this, his live stream of the video. But nonetheless, he says, so no one else is going to do something, I must do something. And at the very end of his manifesto, he says, I chose this mosque because of two reasons. Number one, it is the oldest church, it is the oldest mosque in Christchurch. And number two, it used to be a church before, and now it has been converted to a mosque. And how dare Muslims will take a worship of a place of worship for Christians and turn it to their own. This means that they are taking over the world, right? This is his thought process, you know. And I read through this. This is exactly what the Islamophobia industry does in America today, right? We know it is a $200 million a year industry where people are trying to bring hatred of minorities and immigrants. Why? So that there is a monster or an evil person or a bad guy, an imaginary bad guy that's created. That there are people who are doing this and this and this. 100% of all terrorist attacks in the last 3 years have been done by the far right, not a single Muslim. Guaranteed. You can go look at the statistics right now. 100% of all attacks, terrorist attacks happening in America, have been done by the far right. Not a single Muslim in America has committed a terrorist attack in the last 3 years, right? And so, this is the fear-mongering that the Islamophobia industry has put into people. And yes, we know it is all lies. We believe it is lies, right? If you actually read through it, you can see right through the lies. But there are some people who click, right? In fact, reading through this, I had pity on this person, right? He read through this, and he spent so many hours and hours writing this up before he actually carried out his mission. But it was all full of hate. Right? Imagine the depression and the grief this person is going through. That he has to carry the same burden of hate with him everywhere he goes, right? And so, what do we do moving forward, right? Number one, we have to learn how to combat our Islamophobia, right? And Islamophobia is happening not only in this country; it is happening all over, right? What does Islamophobia do? It brings out a monster, an imaginary monster. They say Muslims are like this, Muslims are like this, Muslims are like this. And then from that, an imaginary hero comes forward. That I will remove all of these monsters, so to speak, right? I will go and remove Muslims. I will ban Muslims. I will ban immigrants. I will do this. I will do this. I will build a wall, etc., etc. This person becomes a hero to many people because of the hate that he's spouting, right? It is part of a massive industry. It is part of a massive industry that just aims to kick out immigrants and minorities from this country and from all Western civilization or all European civilizations, which is not even a thing. If you look at it, there is no such thing as a European civilization, right? So what do we do moving forward, right? How do we combat Islamophobia? That's the first question. And Islamophobia is rampant throughout the world, right? Christchurch was a small town. I mean, New Zealand is one of the safest places in the world, by the way, right? There is like an accident, on the road, a fender bender on the road, and that becomes headline news for the next 5 days because that's how boring the town is. It's a very small town, right? It's a very safe town, right? And in the middle of nowhere, in a very safe, liberal area, we have people like this. This means it could happen anywhere, right? Ironically, that masjid was called Masjid al-Nur. There were two masajid that were shot, right? One of them was called Masjid al-Nur, the oldest masjid in Christchurch. Our masjid is Masjid al-Nur. It could be this Masjid al-Nur tomorrow. We never know, right? We have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us, right? May Allah protect us and keep all masajid safe. But how do we go and combat Islamophobia? Number one, we become people of faith. We become people of faith. It is time for us to go back to our Quran. It is time for us to go back to our Sunnah. It is time, this is all basics. All of us know this. Right? It's time for us to learn about our faith. Go back and turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Learn the meaning of La ilaha illallah. Learn what it means to put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Pray your salawat every single day. These are absolutely fardh. They are absolutely mandatory, right? The bare minimum of our faith is that a person prays 5 times a day. Right? It is a sad reality that over 40% of Muslims do not perform their 5-time daily salawat, right? That's something that we have to ask ourselves, right? It is an essential of our faith. We need to make sure we fulfill our salawat. We read Quran every day. We turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every day. We do the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every day. We become people of faith, right? In order for us to combat Islamophobia, the first thing we have to do, scholars say, the first thing that we have to do is turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Become the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Perform your salawat every single day. To be honest, if you study history, every time Muslims went low in their deen, turned away from their deen, that is when calamity hit, right? It is, to be honest, we are the problem of Islamophobia. We are the problem with Islamophobia because we are not people of action. We are not people of faith. Right? That's the first thing. And the second thing is we have to learn how to show our faith. Right? We have to become people who don't hide their faith or who are not embarrassed by their faith, who are not scared of their faith. They're proud of their faith. Right? If our colleagues, our neighbors, and our friends don't know that we are Muslim, we are the problem. If our friends, our colleagues, and our neighbors do not know that we are Muslim and we are hiding our faith because we are scared of what our faith says, that's because we don't know our faith. It's because we haven't learned what Islam tells us. Right? We are the problem if we are doing that. Right? It is time for us to go and interact with our neighbors. Outreach is not the masjid's responsibility, I'm sorry. Outreach is every person's responsibility on the face of the earth. Every Muslim's responsibility is that he goes and he defends Islam in whatever capacity that he can do. He can do it in. Right? Talking to your neighbors, inviting them to your house, invite them for mansa, for biryani, right? This is the secret weapon to, by the way, for Muslims, it's not having 8 children and taking over the world. It's to the hospitality of Muslims, right? And showing others that we care about them, showing others that we have tolerance in our faith, showing others what a Muslim is, right? And so my advice to all of you here today, right? It's time for us to practice our faith. Number 1. Number 2, it's time for us to show the world what our faith is, right? That means we have to go and show our neighbors, our friends, what Islam is. Be proud of our Islam. Be confident of your Islam, right? We know that there is a mass misrepresentation of Islam in the media. But it is who's going to tell people what Islam is truly if it isn't us? Many people, they will read the news and they will, they will think Islam is this, and this. I gave a presentation last Friday at a church, right? Someone came up to me afterwards, he said, I always thought Islam was about killing people, this, and this. When I learned the word Islam itself means submission and peace, it just changed me completely. My mind completely changed exactly what is Islam. Right? When I saw your presentation, I knew what Islam was. Right? This is what we have to do. Right? Many people, they will never interact with a Muslim. Or if they do, they don't know that person is a Muslim. Right? And that onus falls on us. We are the problem because we don't show what Islam is. Right? We expect, so-and-so news channel will go and represent Islam for us. That's not going to happen. Or so-and-so imam, so-and-so, CARE or MLFA or other organizations will go and tell the world what Islam is. It doesn't work like that. 99% of people will look at the media and they will rely on that media and that's the source of Islam. It is you when you go and deal with them, right? If you're a cashier at your work and you go and you talk to them, a nice word, right? Some hospitality, and showing them that you are proud of your Islam, this is what's going to make people, this is what's going to, teach people about Islam, right? There was a prominent Fox News reporter a couple of weeks ago. What did he say about Ilhan Omar? The muhajjaba, the sister who wears hijab in the Congress, right? What did he say? He said that this person can't be an American because she's Muslim and she's wearing a hijab. Right? It's a very, very troubling statement if you look at it. This person, Ilhan, cannot be an American and a Muslim because she's a Muslim and she wears hijab. People who watch Fox News will automatically say, you know what? This person, anyone who wears hijab, that means they're not American. They probably hate America. That's the first thought that goes into a person's mind when they're watching that, right? And who is this person to say this, right? I mean, being a Muslim and being American is our identity. We are Muslim Americans, right? All of us here are Muslim Americans. We're not American first. We're not Muslim first. We are Muslim Americans. That's the answer that we give to people, right? And so practice our faith, and we show the world what our faith is. And like I said, this is a problem that's going throughout the world. Islamophobia is a problem that's throughout the world. We see what's happening in China, where Uyghur Muslims are what? Being put into camps in the name of re-education. Right? We look at what's happening in India. The Indian elections are about to come. Right? We know what happened. What is India trying to become? A nationally Hindu state, whereas their constitution says we are a secular state. Right? And now the government in India is what? Trying to make India become a Hindu state, right? Kicking Muslims out, or being oppressive against Muslims. We look at the state in Myanmar, where the world has stopped doing anything, right? We acknowledge the difficulty, but we stop caring, or we stop looking at the difficulty. We see what's happening in Palestine. All of this is a direct result of fear-mongering in people, where they create fear of Muslims and immigrants. And all of this is a direct result of that. And the only way we combat that is we show the world what an immigrant is, right? Majority of immigrants nowadays are coming from Muslim countries into America. And so this is not an attack on immigration, this is an attack on Muslims. We need to understand we are people of faith, turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there's no more hiding our faith anymore. I'm sorry. If we hide our faith from our co-workers, we hide our faith from our neighbors and friends, they're going to find out eventually and they're going to hate us for it. when we are proud of our faith, and we are confident of our faith, and we openly traject our faith, we are proud to be Muslim, that's when people have respect for Islam. Right? When you invite them into the masajid and you show them what Muslims are and what Islam is, that's when they're understanding and they have the love and zeal for Islam. They appreciate you showing them your faith. Right? Every open house that happens in any masajid in America is always a packed event. Always. Why? Because people want to learn about Islam. They want to know what Muslims are, who Muslims are, what is Islam. That's what they want to learn. They don't want to hear it from an alt-right, far-right media person. They want to hear it from Muslims themselves. But we are the ones who are the problem because we don't show what Islam is. It is our responsibility, brothers and sisters, that we turn back to become people of faith and become outreach ambassadors of our faith. Every person is responsible for that. It is not the responsibility of an organization. It is not the responsibility of any imam whatsoever, myself or any other imam. It is responsibility of every person. They have to know what's going on in the world. They have to realize this. There was a doctor who came to me last Friday after the Jummah prayer, a doctor who works at UHS. And he said to me, I didn't even hear about this Muslim attack. I was crying inside. I felt so hurt. This is a man who people come and he interacts, and he's a proud Muslim, alhamdulillah. But if you don't know what's going on in the world, how are you going to go and talk to people about Islam? And this is a problem. Right? We need to make sure we become people of faith. And the last thing I want to say, inshallah, before I conclude my khutbah, is that, alhamdulillah, I was talking to Captain Hayes of the JCPD, and he asked me to share this with all of you here. I want to mention at the end of the khutbah. They say when a shooter comes into a masjid, there are three things you can do. You can either run, you can either hide, or you can either fight. One of the three, right? When a shooter comes into a masjid, you have three things to do. Run, hide, or fight. You can't run in our building. Captain Hayes said, there's no running away. Masjids are open, right? There's open places. There is no place for you to hide, and there is no place for you to run. The only solution you have for an active shooter is to fight back. There was 2 masajid that were hit in New Zealand, right? One masjid, there were 41 people who were killed on the spot. And then that killer went and drove to another masjid 7 minutes away, and he started shooting people there. And the janitor, the custodian of that masjid, who was responsible for the traffic, when the man was trying to reload his gun, what did he do? He went and he attacked him. And he got the gun, and the man ran away. The shooter ran away, right? What happens when we fight back, is that people become afraid and they run away, right? So my advice to all of you, especially the people who are sitting at the entrance, it is your responsibility that if someone were to come in, you have to fight. You can't run, you can't hide. There's no chaos, there will be chaos. We have one small door here, and we have one emergency door on this side, and we have a small door there. There's no place to run, there's no place to hide. Right? If you want to protect ourselves, we have to take it upon ourselves to fight. That's the only solution in this masjid. Right? In order for us to equip ourselves, is that we fight back. If someone comes in with a gun, the first thing we do is we tackle him. Maybe one person will lose a life. Maybe, but that person is guaranteed Jannah. Right? That person is guaranteed Jannah. Who else would want to pass away on Friday in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while worshiping Allah? Right? That person will get the reward of saving everyone's life. But at the end of the day, that person this is how we protect ourselves in our masjid. There is no running, there is no hiding. There is only fighting back, right? There's to make sure we attack the person and we disarm him right away before we call the police. And alhamdulillah, we also have police officers always every single Friday. You'll notice that every single Friday we have police officers. But in worst case scenarios, we have to make sure we understand what is our procedure. Right? There's no point of running, there's no point of hiding. More and more people will die. Right? 44 people died in one masjid because no one wanted to attack. In the second masjid, only 7 people died because someone attacked the custodian of the masjid, the janitor of the masjid. He went and he attacked that person, right? And this is what the difference between attacking and fighting back, right? So keep this in mind, inshallah, whenever you are in the masjid, that there's no running or hiding in our masjid, right? There's only fighting. We have to fight back. And alhamdulillah, we have security. Rest assured, you don't need to worry. We do have full security, alhamdulillah, in our masjid. But just to summarize the khutbah, let's be people of faith. Let's turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's be people of action. Talk to non-Muslims about our faith, right? Be people of outreach. Tell the world that you are a proud Muslim, a confident Muslim, a person who knows their faith. Not someone who's embarrassed and hides their faith, right? Someone who prays while sitting down in their cubicle, facing the direction of their laptop so no one knows who they're praying, right? We don't want to be those kind of people. We want to be people who are proud of their Islam. We want to be people who, they're not scared to talk about their faith, right? And they can tell the narrative to many. Many people will not believe what the media will say, but they'll talk to a Muslim, they'll believe it right away. Right? Let's be people who talk to others and show our faith through hospitality. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من صلى علي واحدا صلى الله عليه بها عشرا. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استقيموا واعتدلوا. Restrain the rows, make sure you guys are on the line, please follow me guys. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. Allah. Allahu Akbar. Allah. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum. Just a couple of announcements. Tonight at 6:30 p.m. we are gathering at the community center here for a community dinner. Please bring a dish and join your fellow brothers and sisters in the community. And secondly, Friday, March 29th, there's a night with Noor Kids. Inshallah, next Friday, IOST is fortunate to have the founder and author of Noor Kids join us for a fun-filled evening. Brother Amin will be sharing with us the gems of building a strong Muslim identity. There will be special kids programs as well. The program is free to attend, and it will be from 7 to 9 p.m. on March 29th. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.